So it looks like a certain Aquaman starlet has been fired by Warner and blacklisted by some of the biggest companies in Hollywood as they progress from bad for her to really, really bad to, well, your career is over. You have sources talking about that behind the scenes. Plus, you have the media now talking about the Aquaman 2 role that she once commanded. It has shrunk down to 10 minutes. And there is panic behind the scenes because, quote, the studio is concerned that the film may be boycotted in cinemas, especially after they've witnessed the overwhelming support coming in from fans and colleagues of JD throughout this trial, and they've admitted that cutting that certain Aquaman starlet is absolutely in their best interest. This reported by the media. Now, Warner's not alone in these moves either, as Disney has reportedly blacklisted that certain Aquaman starlet as well after she decided to go into a courtroom, threaten them for sanctions, demand more information from them, and get that shot down big time. Now, you and I, we're going to talk about this and so much more today. And remember that certain Aquaman starlet's own moves back this information up. Remember, just a few weeks before the trial, she unceremoniously unfollowed Jason Momoa. More than that, though, she unfollowed the Aquaman movie itself. You know, the movie that she's starring in that won't come out for another year. Yeah, you don't do that stuff unless you send in a message. And you know what? Message received loud and clear. So, hey there to all you fine folks on this fine day, by the way. I hope you are doing excellently. And isn't it astounding how far things have gone? 2020, you had JD unceremoniously released. You had Warner Brothers, Disney, and more standing with that certain Aquaman starlet. Now you have almost 4 million signatures asking for her to be removed from Aquaman 2. Not only that, but the people that pulled the trigger on JD at Warner, the ones that said, we don't care what you're saying out there, we're going to ignore millions of signatures, all of these have been fired. I mean, we're talking about Ann Sarnoff, that would have been the chairperson for Warner Brothers. We're talking about Warner Media's CEO, Jason Kilar. All of them are out. She has no more protection, and she's done there and done in so many other places too. Now, the interesting thing about this is you don't have to take my word on this either, or the media or sources. You can hear it right from Warner in one of their court filings. Not going to spend a lot of time on this, but it proves the point. That certain Aquaman starlet was cast in both film Aquaman and its sequel Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, and was paid for her services on both films per the terms of her contract. She did not suffer any adverse employment action by Warner Brothers in connection with either movie because of any alleged defamatory statements by JD or Adam Waldman, that would be his lawyer, that are alleged in her counterclaim. Her compensation for both movies was not reduced because of counterclaim statements. Any alleged delay in picking up her option for Aquaman 2 was due to creative issues in casting her in the role of Mira for Aquaman 2, which was communicated to her agent at the time. Any alleged delay in picking up her option for Aquaman 2 was not due to her dispute with JD or to any of the allegations in the lawsuit, specifically with the counterclaim, and we wouldn't have paid her any more money on Aquaman 2, even if she would have had time to negotiate. Now, items like that have emboldened everyone in Hollywood to start speaking up. I mean, you have sources reaching out to the media. Here's one reaching out to Pop Topic. Quote, an anonymous source claiming to be involved in the production reaches out to Pop Topic and alleged that Warner Brothers plans to cut that certain Aquaman starlet out of Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. Quote, by involving Warner Brothers in this mess, she has done irreversible damage to the film, which we think will have a terrible influence on its box office success. While the studio was at odds with her after the film wrapped, Warner Brothers had no intention of cutting her from the movie, but that has since changed. The studio is concerned that the film may be boycotted in cinemas, especially after they've witnessed the overwhelming support coming in from fans and colleagues of JD throughout this trial, and they've admitted that cutting her is absolutely in their best interest. Now, it's not just anonymous sources in Hollywood that are speaking out as well. You have stars and starlets taking to the stage. They're proclaiming JD's innocence and what they think about that certain Aquaman starlet, and some of the people that are speaking out, well, they're shocking because they prove that you have a change in Hollywood, one that says she's no longer welcome. Take Jason Momoa, for example. This is somebody that is promoted with that certain Aquaman starlet that has stood by her for years now. Well, he decided while JD was on the stand that he would end up following JD. Now that she's on the stand, he didn't decide, hey, I'm going to back out of that and drop him. No, right now, while I'm recording this, you can see this right here. He is the last person that he followed on Instagram. That is a loud message of support, and that support, it isn't for her at all. Now, on top of that, you have outlets that don't just shield that certain Aquaman starlet. You have outlets that are friendly, outlets like TMZ, for example, that have been going after anyone that supports JD. Well, look at what they're reporting here. That certain Aquaman starlet has less than 10 minutes of screen time in Aquaman 2. I mean, even the media that is friendly there is saying, hey, this thing is over for you. Now, if this were only Warner Brothers, that would still be a major coup, but it's not. You have other companies that have gotten into the fray, companies like Disney that were very friendly with her at first. They were even discussing giving her roles in upcoming movies, but then she decided to pull a fast one on them, saying that if you don't give me what I want, I'm going to sue you, even asking a court for sanctions openly. Disney, they were not amused at all. Now, Disney, they made this very clear in multiple filings, too. This is my favorite one to cover out of all of them, though. Why? Because this one shows you what happens when you work with that certain Aquaman starlet, and more companies, they pick up this message and they say, yeah, understood. So you have Disney talking about a subpoena. They say that basically she just wanted to prove that Disney did not have documents showing a linkage between her public statements and JD's career, so to minimize damages. So they had a lot of phone calls, they had a lot of emails, and they all agreed that they would do a limited search. After Disney did that and turned it over, you had that certain Aquaman starlet fire all of the people that were on her payroll. She decided she needed new representation after all, and well, that new representation said, Disney, you have to sign and say you looked for everything, which Disney said, we can't do that because that's not what we did. Then they got threatened, and when they got threatened, they weren't happy about it at all. They called this a bait-and-switch tactic. They said that these were trivial preferences, and the other things that came after this, they were fiery. And like I said, when companies start talking about you this way, they stop talking about you fitting roles and paying you millions. Warner, Disney, myriad other companies saying this behind the scenes too. Yeah, she's out, and she's out of Hollywood. I mean, this, like I said, it proves it.